Hey guys, looking to start a YouTube channel. I got quite a few automotive projects going on, specifically with 60s muscle cars, GM to be specific. That's kind of my thing, but I like anything pre 80s really. So hopefully share everything that I've got going on with you guys. A couple different projects. Just to kind of give you a little bit of info about myself, my name's Dakota. I don't know what I'm going to call the channel yet. I'll probably come up with that along the way, but want to put out some content, kind of show you what I've got going on, what I've done so far with the projects that I have going, give you a little bit of history about myself. Back in around, it feels like forever ago, it's probably 02 or 03. I got bit with the car bug. Fell in love with an 84 Monte Carlo SS with black with red pinstripes. I didn't know anything about cars at that point. I just saw it and I fell in love with it. Ended up going back and looking at it a little bit closer with someone that I knew about cars, and he pointed out that the car was rusting away, and I'd be in way over my head for a first project, not knowing anything about cars, and ended up not ever buying that Monte Carlo. But that's the car that started me into cars. It was an 84 Monte Carlo SS, and then went on to kind of go on the search for my first project. My first project ended up being a 66 Cutlass 442 with a 455. Ended up stuffing the 455 in there, and I completely overhauled that car. It was probably a 2 or 3 year venture. Ended up getting rid of it, and along the way got a family, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought, I don't want to be that guy, because we all know that guy that had the car and he comes up to you at the car show and he says, I used to have one of those, I sold it when I got a family. I just didn't want to be that guy. I wanted to be able to make the car dream and the family both happen. So at this point, I've got a few projects that I'm working on. This one that I'm sitting in now is a 68 Nova true SS car, documented with matching 396 block, and Power Glide behind it, not the original Power Glide. This is a family car, my family's car. It was my wife's aunt's father's. So I don't own this car. This is my wife's aunt's car. And we kind of call it Big Mike. That was her dad's name, his nickname. So that's what we call the car. I brought this car back here to my garage last July, and whenever I first saw the car, it was probably about what you would expect for a car, 68, that had been sitting out in the rain for the better part of probably 20-25 years now. I don't think the car has ran since around 03, and I don't have anything to support that it was actually street driven. I think it was probably that was the last time hands were on it, but I'm told that it's been parked out in the rain for probably the better part of 20 years now. And the whole lower cowls were rusted, the whole top of the dash was rusted, lower doors, door shell bottoms, quarters, inner and outer wheelhouse, the whole nine. Pretty average for this. So I've done a lot of that work already, doing the sheet metal work, the rust repair over this winter, and I've got a lot of photos. Unfortunately, I didn't take a lot of video, but I have a lot of photos, so I can show you where I started at with it. I can show you where I'm at now, and then I can kind of take you along the journey as we move forward. I've done a lot of sheet metal work on it. The engine itself was seized up, so I had to go through the engine is in pieces, and I'll show you some clips of that. Ended up actually freeing up the engine. Still need to go through it, but right now my focus is on the sheet metal and this rust repair, just getting it to a solid start. so that we can start getting body work done on it. That's where most of my attention has been up to this point. I do also have some interior work that I've done on it. I would say that's kind of my specialty, is doing dashes and interior. I'm fairly solid at headliners, carpet, seat upholstery. I think that's one place that a lot of people don't feel comfortable with, so hopefully I can provide some information there. I'll show you my steering wheel restoration, my dash restoration, all of those photos. I've got a ton of photos from that progress. So hopefully I'll be able to provide you with a lot of info up to what I've done up to this point. And then I'll give you a walkthrough around the car real quick so you can see what I've done. Another thing I want to point out is I have another project. So again, this one is not mine. It is a long-term project, so I'll be working on this for a long time. One thing I do want to say is that this is kind of a labor of love. I'm not doing this for money or anything. I'm not making any money on it. I'm not charging anybody anything on it. After it's done, the only thing I'm looking forward to is just handing over the keys to my aunt and seeing the smile on her face. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to. So that's the only reason I'm doing it. She just pays the cost for the parts. She pays the cost for the parts, for the supplies, and then as I go through supplies, then I'll budget out what the next repair will be, or what the next focus on the list will be, and then she'll go ahead and Venmo me the money. But that's how it works with us. Is I'm just wanting to have someone to share this with. I'm a little bit of a lone wolf in kind of the car community around here. I don't hang out with a lot of car guys. But I want to have someone I can share it with, and I think that this will be a cool opportunity. I'll point out my projects now, my other projects. So my personal car, maybe I'll keep it a secret what it is, but I'll give you a little hint. So one thing I'll say is this: I did a ton of rust repair on this car. Whenever I picked up my car, I actually had it brought back from Arizona. I just decided I didn't want to deal with the rust. Partially the cost of the rust repair, and I'll be honest, I wasn't anticipating finding a rust-free car. I would have probably went with whatever the most modest car was that I liked, modestly priced car that I liked. It was in my price range, but ended up just kind of falling into this one and really kind of fell in love with it. It's a car that I've always wanted to have. But again, the main reason I got it was because it was such a good deal, but also it's nice I don't have to do the rust repair on it. I'm focusing right now with that one. I just put that car into epoxy. So, because as you'll see, you can probably see both walls in this video. This is a one-car stall. I kind of work on a minimalist shop space. So what you see is what I've got as far as shop space go. I have a little 30-gallon air compressor. I do flux core welding, so it's the Harbor Freight flux core welder. I operate on a pretty small budget, but I plan on doing it all myself. I don't plan on farming out any of the work. I don't like the idea of farming it out, partially because the cost, but mostly because pride. I want to say that I did this car completely myself, so I don't plan on farming out any of this work. So good, bad, or ugly, you'll see the results of it. If I fail, you'll see the results. We won't quit on it. We'll just make adjustments on the fly and try to figure out what went wrong and fix it. So you guys are going to be along for the whole journey of that. Let me give you a tour around the car real quick, and then I'll give you a sneak peek. Again, I think I probably won't tell what the other project that I'm working on is, but I'll give you a little sneak peek as to what it is, and maybe you can guess. So again, 68 Nova SS, matching number 396. This is the high performance 396, so the 375 horsepower version. You can see I still have firewall repairs to be made. However, it's in pretty solid shape. Dash was repaired, but it is dusty. There's quite a bit of dust because I just got done doing all the quarter work and all the outer wheelhouse work and all the rust repair on this. So you'll see quite a bit of dust on some of the floors and stuff. But it's just because actually I've been focusing a little more time on the other project here lately in the last like 2 weeks or so. So I have had a little bit of pause on this one, but I'll show you guys work so far. So door skins, quarter panel, roof. This is no filler, no body work. This is stripped to 180 and sprayed in epoxy. Floor pans replaced. Did 2 half sheets. This little stain coming off this drip rail is actually from a phosphoric acid etching that I did the roof in. And this roof, again, this was a very rusty car. It sat out a really long time, but it had a lot of little pits and stuff inside. Not deep pits, but little tiny pits that I suspected probably had some rust pocketing in them. I stripped it to nice, clean, bare metal, but just wanted to be really, really safe that this any rust down in those little pockets might be taken care of. So I soak this whole thing in phosphoric acid by laying towels up on this roof, putting the phosphoric acid on the towels, letting it soak there for about 40 minutes, coming back, removing the towels, and then drying off the roof before prepping it and then spraying it in that epoxy. And then that's just a little bit of residue from that acid, because it does leave a little bit of a sticky coating almost. Lead was taken out of the seams there, and then I did a partial fill with all metal. I'm using all metal on this. Actually, funny story. I was watching Mr. Fireman. I really respect the work that he does, and he did some reviews on all metal, and I really kind of trusted his opinion on that. So I ended up using that all metal. I did then also watch a review of all metal from my friend Pete, SWRNC, and he actually didn't like the all metal, and he had talked about how it cracked. So I decided, if it's gonna crack, I'm going to put it on now, way before I start doing body work or paint or anything, and we'll see if it cracks. This car, I push it in and out of the garage, depending on what kind of weather I have outside. These are unibody cars. They do have a little bit of flex to them. But we'll see if it's going to crack. Hopefully it cracks before body work is done on it. Do still need to put an additional coating on there to fill in some of the low spots here. But that was the idea behind getting that on. Trunk is the original trunk. Did the same thing that I did with the roof. Still have to install this filler pan, so you guys will get to see that when I install that filler pan. Filler pan does have the stainless trim brackets on it, and it also has the ledge for your rear windshield. So that was completely rusted out. These back windows all in here were rusted out. That's where a good bulk of the rust was. These quarter panels were all rusted here. and then along the normal spots at the lower section of the quarter panel. So that's why those got replaced. Same thing on this side. We've got new quarter panel, AMD, new door skin, AMD, and then the lower portions of those door skins, or the door shells, I should say, were also repaired. So I'll show pictures of all this. Hopefully you guys will kind of get an idea of the work that I've done so far, and you'll be able to see the progress that it's made. So again, this is the 68 Nova project. No filler or anything in it yet. No real body work, just the sheet metal work. It's pretty straight car, pretty solid car. I've already collected fenders, hood. Need to grab a core support for it. I think I'm gonna end up reusing, being able to save the wheel tubs up front that I've got. I have a whole basement full of parts, so I've got a parts room in my basement that is full for this. The car was almost complete, 100% complete, I'd say, almost. Seats, interior was all there, and we're being pretty particular about what parts go back in this thing. The goal here, and again, I'm not a restoration guy. I'm a build it how you want it and enjoy it kind of guy. But the goal here is for my aunt to get in this thing and remember it how it was when she rode in it with her father. So that's the goal here. I'm not a restoration guy, but that's why we're doing this car back the way it was. So yeah, let me walk you over to my little hint that I'm gonna drop for what my other project is, and it's kind of a big hint, but just a little teaser here. So here it is, right over here in the corner. So first hint will be this kind of a universal pattern for that transmission, but maybe the color will tip you off as to what it is, and if the color doesn't tip you off to what it is, then maybe that will. So I'll show that one to you next time. So yeah, I hope you guys end up liking what I've got to offer, and I'll try to keep putting out content. I'm working on these things pretty full time. Anytime, any day of the week after 5 usually. Again, I've got a 9 to 5 where I turn the wrench. But I'll be showing the work on it after I get done with work, and most weekends I don't do much outside of the car stuff, so you guys will be able to see what I've got going on, hopefully, and hopefully you enjoy it. Yeah, please subscribe. Please leave some comments. Let me know what you think of the projects and my work. If you have anything you'd like to see on this, I'd like to know about it. If there's anything you want to see on my other projects, or anything else you want to know about me, let me know. I'm an open book, and I really want this thing to take off, and I want to get something out of it. And I want you guys to get some enjoyment out of it. So hopefully you like it. Thanks. Bye.